And right now, some of the most unserious people in America are handling it. Since the start of the war with Iran, the White House has posted video of strikes edited to look like footage from the Call of Duty video game, with literal, quote, points being awarded for each strike. Meanwhile, the man overseeing the U.S. military, Pete Hegseth, has been talking about the conflict less like a defense secretary, someone of his station, and more like a teenage boy in a video game chat room.
The dumb, politically correct wars of the past were the opposite of what we're doing here. They had vague objectives with restrictive, minimalist rules of engagement. No more. Iran tried to kill President Trump, and President Trump got the last laugh. They are toast, and they know it. Or at least, soon enough, they will know it.
Joining us now, retired Lieutenant General Mark Hertling. He is also author of the new book, If I Don't Return, A Father's Wartime Journal. General, I am, and I assume you are, struggling with watching this. My dad was in the Army. My dad has gone to war. I have lost my friends' fathers didn't come back from war at different times when I was growing up. And so it is disturbing to watch the Secretary of Defense speak about war in the way that he is, that we just outlined there. When you watch him do that, when you watch him describing it in terms of football or a video game, what does that signal to you about how serious he takes his job and the fact that American troops, 6 of whom have already died, may be put in danger very, very soon?
Well, it's interesting because the American public should be given information about what America's sons and daughters are doing in combat. They should receive information about the operations. But it is the way that it's executed that is so troubling in today's administration. You don't want something as serious as combat, something that revolves around life and death on both sides, to be taken as kind of a video game or a public display of propaganda. And that's what we're seeing right now. It's just really, really troubling to me. When I saw the reports and then watched that video game tape from the White House, I thought to myself, that's got to be disconnected from the Defense Department, because the Defense Department would never produce something like that. This is internal communications at the White House. But then thinking more about it and watching Secretary Hegseth's press conferences over the last couple of days, where he uses terms like a politically correct war, I'm not sure what he means by that. I'm not sure what he's alluding to when he uses that phrase, or when he says we're not living by onerous rules of engagement. Well, when you don't live by onerous rules of engagements, you do things in combat that have repercussions, like striking a girls' school where there's a whole lot of deaths, and it compounds the public's reaction to what the conflict is all about and gives negative implications. All of those things matter. And it's just troubling to me the way that some who have never served are producing these kinds of videos to try and inform the public. Now, if they're going after the young teenagers and the vet bros who have never experienced the smells or sights or sounds or disaster and chaos of combat, that's not good either, because it's teaching the wrong lessons. That's not what combat is. Anyway, those are just some of my thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he is really just on that thread targeting the manosphere who have really adopted what they thought was the MAGA interventionist policies. But Hegseth was also equally dismissive when a reporter asked him about concerns over Russia sharing intel with Iran. I want to give this a listen and ask you about it on the other side, General.
Does this put U.S. personnel in any more danger than they otherwise would be?
Well,
the Russian involvement.
No one's putting us in danger. We're putting the other guys in danger. That's our job. So we're not concerned about that. We mitigate it as we need to. Our commanders factor all of this. But the only ones that need to be worried right now are Iranians that think they're going to live.
What impact
that's
do you...
Jackie, that's a sidestep, and I'm going to tackle it before you even ask the question. I'm
Right,
sorry
go for it.
But it's infuriating to me as a soldier. I mean, I can remember not so long ago when Secretary Hegseth was a Fox News anchor, and there were reports of Russia providing information that killed soldiers in Afghanistan, and he went off the chart on President Biden. We now have a situation where Russia is contributing to the intelligence that can lead to the potential danger of U.S. forces with Iran. And at the same time, I mean, I'm going to juxtapose this against President Zelensky, who our president has mocked and put in very bad situations in his war in Ukraine, is basically helping the United States in terms of giving information on how to counter drone warfare. So you have an administration that's still handling Russia, a criminal nation with a war criming president, saying, "Oh well, don't worry about them. We'll take care of that. Iran's the people that have to be concerned." Well, as a military commander, I tell you, you look at all things within an area of operation, and if Russia is passing intelligence, and there's indicators that they are to Iran, and it's helping them to target U.S. military facilities, they should stand up against that. If President Zelensky of Ukraine, is offering help in terms of giving advice about how to counter drone warfare, that's also troubling when the president still is not giving assistance to the Ukrainian fight against Russia. So to me, it's confusing. I spent 4 decades in uniform, and to me, it seems like an upside-down world right now.
Lieutenant General Mark Hertling, unfortunately, that's all we have time for, but thanks for joining us this morning.
I'm sorry for interrupting, Jackie. You probably
No, I think that's what we call a preemptive strike.
Yeah, and I don't like those all that much either. But thank you all. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thanks, General.
Coming